Hello, Stephen White, SteveArts89. We've got a little bit of an update for Picard. Now, we got a trailer today, which was actually surprisingly good and made me feel very optimistic about the direction of the show and how extensive the show is and what they're going to include. It's not just going to be Picard dealing with post-traumatic stress and his history in the vineyards and going on some archaeological dig and getting slightly involved in something which may lead to a couple of scenes in space. That was all I was hoping for from what we heard before. We're finding now that the Borg's involved, Data's back, and the Romulans and the Vulcans and the whole political drama about, I'm guessing the Romulans are going to be some immigrant situation with them, refugee status, refugees. There's so much in the current American politics that they could be bringing into this, which could be interesting. It could also be very forced and not related to the story, but it could be interesting. But the most interesting thing that's happened now is some extra cast that we found out now. The cast that was sort of rumoured that we heard about has been sort of confirmed, and we haven't really got any more information about them really. But the interesting thing is to find out that aside from Brent Spiner and Jerry Ryan, who are back and we saw in the preview, we're actually getting Riker and Troy, which is not a big surprise because we kind of knew with Jonathan working as a director on the show that he'd been involved, and since his character of course is married to Deanna Troy, you would assume that if they're going to show him, especially if he's going to be on the Titan and they're there together, that we're going to see them. So that's not a surprise, but it's good. I was hoping for that, and I'm glad they went there because it seemed a bit too obvious. I thought they probably won't do that because we want it and it's obvious, and it's just too easy. And with Discovery, they seem to take the absolute hardest, worst way around everything. So this is very encouraging. It's like, oh, this will be good. The fans like that. Let's just do it. Bam, they did it. The other thing they're doing, which is interesting, is I didn't realize the character that we see lying on the table, who looks like he's having Borg implants removed, is actually, what's his name? Jonathan Del Arco, probably mispronounced that, who played Hugh in the original Next Gen. Now, I'm very glad they brought that character back and they are dealing with that, because that was a big thing in the Next Gen where they basically humanized him. They brought him, connected him with his humanity, and then sent him off into the Borg Collective to try and destroy it from within. And then they went back to that at the end of the season 6 and season 7 Descent, the two-part of Next Gen. They did sort of address the chaos that this had caused, and just, yeah, you don't need to go into that whole episode, but I'm really glad that they're dealing with that and the fallout from that on some level. They're acknowledging it. They're not, because when they went to the movies and then Voyager, they didn't seem to address it properly. I didn't feel like it was ever really resolved or addressed properly. So I'm really glad he's coming back, and I assume they wouldn't bring him back if they weren't going to deal with that character and that situation and all those details. So I'm happy about that. I'm just I'm surprised and I'm happy, but I'm still cautious because the preview was good, but it could still go the wrong way. It's really, yeah, but I'll think about that later. Now, the other really important thing we found out, very important, the dog's name is Number One. It wasn't just something they did for the posters. They thought it'd be cute. The dog is called Number One. So I'm sure, Riker is not happy and he's been usurped and someone else has his position. Now, we're getting a bit of double talk about the show itself. We're hearing that it is it's the old, trying to make everyone happy. Tell the new fans, it's new, it's different, it's not like the old Star Trek, but then speaking to the old school fans and the original fans and the people who just actually like Star Trek for what it's supposed to be, it's gonna honor canon, it's gonna fit with canon, it's gonna honor everything that came before, it's gonna you can't have it both ways. They're like, oh, it honors everything that came before, but it's totally different. We're doing, we're sticking to canon but shaking everything up. They just want to make everyone happy, make everyone watch it, but they can't deliver on all areas. So, and you can't trust trailers and previews. They can be very deceptive. They can make things look amazing that aren't. They can show the 3 great shots in a movie and make it look like the whole movie is about that. So I am feeling optimistic, but I'm being cautious too. I got sucked in with Discovery. I thought it was going to be good. I thought anything that looks suspicious and weird, they'll have an explanation for it. It'll make sense, because there's a lot of rumors coming out before the show that it was going to be bad, and then it just turned out to be so much worse. So this is looking good. I'm hoping it's going to be good, but I'm being cautious because we don't know. Like, they're saying it's, like I said, a new kind of show made by people who love the original. It's going to be slower, more lyrical, more character focused, and that's all good. It looks like that it's going to be played more like a traditional drama, more like Next Gen was, whereas Discovery was trying so hard to be adventure and fast and pew pew pew, and just people just didn't work. Hopefully this change of tone will be, even though it might be slower than Next Gen, if it's done well, it'll be rewarding. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. But I was afraid they were going to spend the whole time on the vineyard with him talking about his emotions. So I'm glad we are getting into space. We see them on the ship, we see the bridge, we see the Borg are involved, we see a Borg cube, if you haven't watched the trailer. We see, humans in some sort of refugee camp, and it says, there's a sign saying, so many days since last assimilation or something. So it seems to be people who have been rescued from the Borg or have some relation to the Borg are being kept in refugee camps or some sort of situation like that, which I thought it would be the Romulans, because obviously their planet's been destroyed, they've got to go somewhere, but they're enemies to everyone. How do we treat this enemy? That's what I thought the series was going to be about. So it's good. It threw a lot of things out. It's surprising, and there's a lot of questions, and I'm interested. I want to know where it's going to go. I want to know how things are resolved, how they're dealt with. But I'm terrified they're going to be dealt with badly, and I'm going to end up at the end of the series screaming at the TV like I practically was with Discovery, season 1 and 2. Although season 2 was more the ending that was wrong, and a problem. The series itself had more good episodes and less issues. There was always, every episode had a problem that you couldn't enjoy it because something would come up, but it was tonally, visually a lot better, and I'm feeling like if Picard is better than that, maybe twice as good as that, it won't be as good as Next Gen or the original Star Trek, but it'll be watchable and it'll be enjoyable, and you can just sort of see it as a different tone or a different type of Star Trek, because they're not putting us on a ship but not treating it like the same as the other shows on a ship. And I just wish, if they're going to do all these different shows, give us one traditional show so you can keep the fans happy who like the old school Star Trek, and then you can do your different series for all the other types of fans you're trying to get into Star Trek. Which is problematic because then they all want different things and they all fight and no one's really happy. But you can always just ignore the other shows and just watch the one you like. So I'm feeling optimistic. I have to say that. And I'm happy about that, because I was feeling a lot more pessimistic about the show before. Hadn't heard anything good. It just seemed to just be a cheap cash grab. They're just going to have him on the planet the whole time, and there'd be just some weird little archaeological trip he goes on that like puts him into space for like maybe one episode or something, some little conflict. I figured it was going to be mostly just, trying to save money, use Picard, use Patrick Stewart's name to get people to watch, but not really be able to deliver anything. So it's looking good. And Brent Spiner back as Data looks good as well. I'm curious. People are saying, is he Data? Is he B4? Was Data saved and rescued or repaired somehow? Like, they've got him in pieces. Why would they take B4 apart? So did they did the Romulans have Data's body after the ship blew up in Next Gen? Is that part of was that part of all the planet being destroyed and the negotiations and all that, was that they actually said, oh, by the way, we have your commander here in pieces. But yet in the Countdown comic they showed him in command of a ship just like normal. So whether that was before, or whether there's flashing back to how he was revived, or if he's just missing and Picard's remembering him and haunted by him sacrificing himself for him, we don't know. But these are all the fun questions. As long as they're answered well, everyone will be happy. I'm just praying that they do a good job with this, and it looks, I'm just hoping it is as good as it looks. But I'm going to have to leave it there. Hopefully we'll have something to look forward to. If you have any information or any comments. I love watching people's videos and reading their comments, and I'd like to have some more of my own. But feel free to like, subscribe, share, whatever you can do. But I really just like to hear what people think. So I'll be watching everyone's videos and getting everyone's opinions, and I'm just glad I get to share mine. So thanks, bye.